everyone, Gecko here. It's nice to be driving along with my old friend Mr. T.
Gekko, I've got something amazing to show you today. I've been really busy creating a brand new ice cream factory.
Wow, that sounds so cool. Can we go and have a look?
Yeah, I've already got your friends, the mechanicals, there now, setting everything up for us.
What? You've left the mechanicals on their own? In an ice cream factory? Uh-oh, that spells trouble.
Let's hope there's no more mechanical mischief today.
Now that the factory's squeaky clean again, please can you show me around?
I think the best way for me to show you how my ice cream factory works, Gekko, is to make a brand new ice cream flavour. What do you think?
I think that sounds delicious.
But first, we need to put our protective clothes on.
Let's get ice cream making. First, Mr. T needs to make a special milk mix in this really big tank. He adds 5 bags of milk powder to some water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He gives it a stir with his big paddle to make sure it's mixing just fine. Then he adds sugar for sweetness and a few more secret ingredients. We're going to make a special Gecko ice cream. So Mr. T adds some bright green lime flavour. To make the mix into ice cream, you have to make it really, really cold so that it freezes. The mix gets moved from this big tank into the freezing machine.
So Gekko, come on, let's do it. Let's make some lovely ice cream for you.
But what are we going to make, Mr. T?
We're going to make a lovely Gekko's Green ice cream dream just for you. So first of all, Gekko, what we do is we get the machine and we open it there and we get lots of ice cream coming out. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Wow, look at the ice cream all coming out.
Look at it swirling around, Gekko. It is absolutely delicious.
Ooh, look at the colour of that.
Gekko, look at this. It's a lovely lime green flavour just for you.
My favourite colour's green. Wow, there's loads in there.
Well, Gekko, you have got an appetite, haven't you? So, Gekko, first of all, on your lovely ice cream, we are going to put on some blue bubblegum sauce. And the second sauce that we're going to put on, Gekko, is going to be some lovely, lovely strawberry sauce. Wow. And then, after that, because it's a special green ice cream just for you, we are going to put lots of these lovely green crunch crystals all over. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this one, Gekko. And we're going to be healthy and put some lovely fruit on, which is some of these nice green kiwis.
Ooh, I love kiwi fruit.
Kiwi is the best. And always remember, kids, make sure you have plenty of fruit. There. Doesn't that look amazing, Gekko? And then we got some lovely, lovely geckos. Wow. We'll get some of these lovely spanner cookies. Wow, look at them. And we'll pop them in there. think this is going to be amazing, this ice cream. So here we are then, Gecko is finally ready. Your masterpiece, Gekko's green ice cream dream.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. T. That looks delicious. I love steam trains, so today is my lucky day. I'm in North Wales to go on a ride through the Snowdonia Mountains and learn all about these amazing machines. Woohoo! This train is just leaving the station now. Look at all that steam coming out. It's no wonder they're called steam trains. Many years ago, these trains were used to transport slate from up high in the mountains. But now they're just used to take lucky passengers on amazing train rides. Come on, let's get on board. These old-fashioned carriages are very comfy, and you can even get yummy hot chocolate served straight to your seats. This train is the best. Just look at the amazing views out of the windows as we steam our way through the Snowdonia Mountains. Wow, it's beautiful here. We're all very clean and comfortable in here, but I wonder what it's like for the driver in the cabin up front. The part of the train that does all of the hard work is called the locomotive, and it's up to the driver and the fireman to keep the locomotive running and pulling all of those carriages and passengers. Steam trains run on coal, and the fireman has to shovel lots of it into the firebox to keep the engine running. This is Ian, and he's the driver of this locomotive. Ian, please can you tell us how coal makes the train go?
So this is the coal we burn on our steam engine. Put it in the fire there. We burn it and that creates lots and lots of heat. And that heat we use to boil this water. It's just like boiling your kettle at home. It makes the steam come out the top, but we capture that steam and we send it to the front of this steam loco, and that makes us go.
To make sure there's enough coal for the journey ahead, the crew have to load up the train's coal from the coal store at the station. This is hard, tiring and dirty work. All of the crew that work on the train are volunteers too, which means they don't get paid. They do it because they love the trains. This is Claire, and she's the fireman. It's her job to load the coal into the firebox and keep that fire roaring.
And what I'm doing now is I'm making my fire bigger because we're pulling a very big train today, so it needs a nice big very hot fire to be able to do that. I love steam trains because I just find them magical.
As well as loading the coal into the train, it's just as important to make sure the train has plenty of water in the tank, because this is what gets turned into steam, which pushes the train forwards. The crew are topping up this train's tank with water now. Wow, this one's thirsty. Ian, how do you drive a steam train?
We drive a steam train by making it go faster like that, and then this is the brake, and this is what we use to stop ourselves. So this lever here makes us go either forwards or backwards. And that is how you drive a steam train.
Let's take a look at the different parts of a steam train. Here's the cab. This is where the driver and fireman drive the train and load the fire. Inside here is the firebox, which is really, really hot. Above the firebox sits the boiler, where the water is stored. Because this is right above the fire, the water boils and turns into steam. The steam is then forced down through a pipe and pushes something called a piston, which then drives the wheels forwards or backwards. This is the chimney, which is where the smoke from the firebox can escape. And most importantly, this is the whistle.
The whistle works when I pull this handle. And that means that steam is going up to the whistle and making the sound.
Ian's connecting a carriage to the locomotive. This is called coupling. Because these trains are very old, they take a lot of looking after, which is why the Festiniog and Welsh Highland Railway have their own special garage with an amazing team of engineers, mechanics, joiners, and painters. This place is a hive of activity. In here, they're building a brand new carriage from scratch. And in here, this is where the beautiful details on the outside of the carriage are painted on by hand. What a lovely day for a walk. But woohoo! This hill's a bit steep. Mechanicals, are you okay? Whew. I'm struggling a bit too. I should really get out of the garage more and do some exercise. Hey! The mechanicals have hitched a lift. How do I get on? Hey! Wait for me!
Hi Gecko, you okay? Welcome to the Great Orme Tramway. This is the halfway station.
Halfway? You mean I'm not at the top yet? Wow! Now this is the way to travel. Put your feet up and get pulled up the mountain. This is a tram. It runs on rails, and it's connected to a really strong cable, which pulls it up the hill with absolutely no effort on my part. Phew! Wahey! We've reached the top. What a view! Up here, there's a cafe, a play area, and even an adventure golf course. Now, this tramway is very old. The Great Orme Tramway was built in 1902. That's over 100 years ago. It was before most people had cars to get around in, and the tramway was used to transport people and their things from the town of Llandudno below up to the mountain called the Great Orme. Let's take a closer look at how these trams work. What do you mean there's no engine? Excuse me, James. If there's no engine in the tram, how does it move up the hill?
Good question, Gecko. Well, as you know, the tram is connected to a really strong cable, and this cable is connected to a big winch at the halfway station. Would you like to see?
Ooh, yes please. This is a winch. Wow, this is amazing. This big winch is really strong, and it winds the cable in, which pulls the tram up. But that's not the only help that the tram has. The tram climbing up the hill is also connected to the tram going down the hill. An invisible force called gravity pulls the tram down the hill. Gravity is what keeps us on the ground. Oh dear, Blue. That's gravity for you. It's always pulling us towards the ground, with sometimes painful consequences, eh, Blue? What goes up must come down. Back to the trams. The weight of the tram going downhill helps to pull the other tram up the hill. That means the tram doesn't need an engine on board. Wowzers trousers. It takes real teamwork to keep the tram running. The winchman controls how fast and how slow the trams get pulled up and down the hill. But it's the driver on board the tram who gives the winchman the instructions. When the driver presses these buttons on board, a message is sent to the winchman to speed up or slow down the winch. Amazing! Whew, I'm exhausted. All of this learning has made me tired. I might have to leave my big walk until tomorrow. These trains are exactly the same as real steam engines, except much, much smaller. But that means they're really fun to ride on. The mechanicals didn't want to come with me today. They said they only want to see big vehicles. Those silly mechanicals don't know what they're missing out on. This is David, and he's a model engineer and mini train driver. This is his locomotive, and it's called the Royal Air Force. It took David 12 years to build this special locomotive, and today we're going to send it whizzing around the track. This part is called the tender, and it's where coal and extra water can be stored. Now that David's train is safely on the track, it's time to transfer it onto a steaming bay. This is where the fire inside the locomotive can be lit, and the boiler gets filled up with water. This process is called steaming up. First, David uses this pump to fill the boiler with lots of water. The boiler is inside this part here. More water can then be poured into the tender to keep the boiler topped up when the train is running.
Okay, gents, tea's ready. Hey. And here's one for you, Gecko.
Oh, thank you very much, Paul. Next, it's time to fill the firebox with coal. David has soaked these bits of coal in a liquid that makes them burn much faster. The fire is then lit from underneath the firebox. David builds the fire by shoveling more mini pieces of coal into the firebox. As the fire heats the water in the boiler, the pressure builds up and has to escape somewhere. And whoa! There it goes! A quick oil around the parts and cylinders to keep everything moving smoothly, and we're ready to go. David's friend Paul swings the track over, and it's full steam ahead. Coal is the fuel for this steam train, and David needs plenty to power the train around the track. A quick stop at the coal store to load up the tender to make sure we have enough coal for the day. David's train onto the main track, Brian here needs to change the points. He checks no other trains are coming, pulls these levers, and the track magically moves all by itself. Green means go! Woo! Now David can whiz around the track. I can't believe the mechanicals are missing this. It looks so much fun. So, David, how do you drive a mini train?
Well, first of all, you need coal for the fire. You put the coal into the firebox, and that makes the fire. And the fire boils the water in the boiler, and the steam from the boiled water is then taken off down to the cylinders, which drives the engine. And this lever is called the regulator, and we just turn that, and then the engine will start going forwards.
Hey, mechanicals! Have you been here all along? Do you want to have a ride? David, the mechanicals are so excited that they're letting off their own steam.
Come on, mechanicals, jump aboard.
Wow, the mechanicals love these mini trains almost as much as these children. I'm back at the Hoylake Lifeboat Station with the RNLI to learn all about their amazing hovercraft. I can't wait to meet the crew and get stuck in. A hovercraft is an amphibious vehicle. Do you know what amphibious means? It means something that can go on land and in the water. This is Chris, and he's today's hovercraft commander.
Great to see you, Gecko. Coming into our lifeboat station.
It's amazing inside this lifeboat station. There's so many huge vehicles that are all designed to rescue people who are in trouble at sea.
Gecko, would you like to join us on a hovercraft training exercise?
Oh yes, please, Chris. To stay safe, warm and dry, the crew have to wear this safety gear. The helmet is actually called a Gekko helmet. Can you believe it? It's a real team effort to launch the hovercraft. Push, team! The hovercraft is very heavy, so a big tractor is used to tow it safely down to the beach. Then, it's all hands on deck to unclip the hovercraft from the trailer and pump up the inflatable sponsons, which help the hovercraft float on water. Then the pilot uses the engine to glide back onto the beach. Hooray! Wow, Look at all of these levers and switches. It all looks very complicated. Nick is the pilot, and it's his job to fly the hovercraft. To start the engine, Nick turns this key. We can't see them, but underneath the hovercraft are 2 fans, which blow air downwards. This fills the skirt with air, making the hovercraft lift off the ground. Wowzers trousers! The big fans at the back are called the thrust propellers, and these push the hovercraft forwards. When Nick moves this lever, the rudders at the back move. It's these rudders that steer the hovercraft left and right. Nick makes the fans move faster, and the hovercraft glides forwards. Woo, that is amazing! As commander of the hovercraft, it's Chris's job to check all around and give Nick instructions to help him fly the hovercraft safely. It's so fast and it's so noisy. Now I know why these Gecko helmets have microphones and headphones built into them. They allow us to talk and listen to each other. It feels like we're floating across the sand. And just like that, we're on the water. This hovercraft is amazing! It's now time for me to hop off and let the crew do their training exercise. The RNLI is a charity set up to save lives at sea. And these training exercises help the team here get ready for real-life search and rescue missions. So, to be as prepared as they possibly can be, the team practice. Today they're practicing how to rescue someone who is stuck in the mud. Playing in deep mud near the sea can be very dangerous, especially if the tide is coming in. Now that's what I call getting stuck in. Tides are the rise and fall of the levels of the sea. This is something that's happening all of the time, which means that if you're stuck in the mud on the beach, the tide might come in and surround you with water. It's very important to respect the water and make sure you check when the tide is coming in, to make sure you're safe when you're at the beach. Well done, team. Another successful training mission. Oh dear, it looks like the mechanicals haven't checked the tide times, and they're stranded on this island. It looks like there's a storm coming too. Luckily, the hovercraft is the perfect rescue vehicle. Jump aboard, mechanicals. Look how muddy the hovercraft is. All that whizzing about in the sand and sea is dirty work. Every time the hovercraft is called into action, the RNLI crew take great care to make sure it's cleaned up and ready to be used again. Here in the nice dry lifeboat station is the perfect place for the hovercraft to sleep for the night. Thank you very much to the fabulous crew from RNLI Hoylake for allowing me to spend the day with them and their amazing hovercraft. It's been absolutely brilliant. I'll see you again soon. Bye! If you love this video, tap here so you're the first to know about my latest videos. Thanks for watching. Bye!